Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go in on FFAI. They're doing everything right. They have AI in the name and they just did a 1-to-150 reverse split.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check and it's gone.
Hey, welcome to Laughing Stock, everybody. Johnny, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a bit of a rough week, but we always have FFAI with us, you know?
Yeah. Oh, let's actually let's pull up that beautiful chart. Oh, hold on. Okay.
Anything with AI, Dane, everything with AI in the name are welcome on the Laughing Stock.
Yeah. You know, this is the thing, is with a stock like this, because it has AI in the name, it's just going to bounce back that much harder.
Yeah.
So we, I think because of reversion for the mean, I say that this is worth $258 by the end of next week.
Yeah, have to be. And they just did a 1-to-150 reverse split.
That's strong. That's a strong sign.
So, no, definitely, it's going well and nothing to worry about, I think.
Yeah, what are we off the highs now? We're down about 8%. If you look at last time's highs to the low, almost made it to 14. So yeah. We're getting there. I did just see on X that Trump once again has decided that he's going to start to hold off a massive Iran deal here. So we'll see. We might. That's why in the thing I said we might get one more taco trade, guys. So we'll see if next week can bounce.
I think what worried me a little bit here, Dane, to be a bit serious, is on your chart there, Friday, it took out the low, the big candle on 9 of June, which was a strong pullback on that day, you know. So and it kind of touches the 50 EMA, at least on my chart, on the QQQ. But now it took out that low. Huh?
This is the 100 it's on right now for me.
Yeah. So it took, this is new territory again, and it matches a little bit. I saw the, oh, hold on. Yeah, no, never mind. That was a different chart I looked, but no, this was the point. Like the 150 EMA, just where it is right now on the QQQ, matches, you know, the pullback we had in the bull run 27 of April and 28. So I'm not going to be too surprised if it's going to try to get down towards some of those levels even, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see this break all the way down to the 200, to be honest. I think the AI trade, the semi trades, like those were holding up the markets, obviously, and the huge cycle out of those right now, which obviously they were a bit overextended, but I just don't think there's anything really attracting buyers to this market right now. You might see a little bit of a bounce next week if some things start to recover a little bit, but I don't.
If you look at the bases, the semiconductor names and the one related to it are building now, they are pretty loose, you know.
Yeah.
They're pretty wide and volatile, and it's very hard to. It's like I've lost my interest a little bit to try to even catch some of the moves there because the next day you might just be stopped out, which has been the case for me this week. We just spoke about it before the stream that this week has been pretty hard, and it's just a bit unnecessary to do anything, I think, when the environment is like this.
Yeah, I like I was saying before the stream, I got to go back through and I wanted to just see if there's any correlations, because I still find like there was a day this week I could have traded and it kind of seemed like the obvious day to trade this week and I would have made money on that day, but the rest of the days really no. So I got to go back through and see if there's like another rule I can put in place that like further eliminates my trading. On the down days and where everything's kind of moving against you, I do keep my stop a lot tighter now. And part of the reason I even traded this last week was just I'm always practicing my execution. It's just because trading still, like you said, I mean, we haven't been doing the actual trading side of thing for too long. So for me, it's just practicing that. So even though I was down, I think 4% at least this week. So, which I know that sounds like a lot, but once again, remember my portfolio is super volatile. So, this week was about 4%. If I would have traded better on that one day, which I messed up my rule, which is why, like I said, I'm still working on the actual execution side of things. Yeah. I probably would have been only down maybe like 2 or 1%. So it could have worked out a little better, but still overall the week was basically negative, even following all my rules. Which the goal is to get a rule set that essentially doesn't do that. So I do have to go back through. And just kind of work on what I can make to make even more sensitive rules. I mean, like, we were looking at my market strength beforehand here. I mean, this is ugly. It is
pretty
everything
red.
is at the bottom. Somehow the S&P held up on Friday.
I think I saw some of the giga caps were doing well. I think Apple.
Yeah, I know Apple's holding up well. Like Apple's almost a buy right now because of how well it's holding up.
Apple is showing extremely good signs here.
It's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. And then Intel didn't Intel beat their guidance, but then it still dropped. It still couldn't hold up. So
like I said, it's like they did have a beat. Surprise, it says on TradingView, with almost 100% beat on earnings and 12% on the revenue in terms of the estimates. But
you wouldn't know that from the chart.
No, it fell. So I don't know if something was said there as well, the guidance or something. But like we just spoke about, that entire group is a bit. I think you just need to let it. I think this can set up again. The semiconductors group can set up again, but there's no point trying to get into it here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Well, obviously, I'm always curious to see like what the next day brings, because like at the start of this last week, if you watched the last week's stream, you and I were both kind of like, it doesn't look great. It might work out next week. We'll have to see. And of course, last week was just historically a bad week. Ever since I've been really tracking and watching everything, it's one of the worst weeks I've seen. Which it made sense. There's really nothing positive going on right now. Everything worldwide.
Oh, and that's the other thing here. You have these catalysts hanging over you constantly, and it just doesn't get resolved. And at some point, maybe that waiting period will also be taken as like just a negative signal that will send the stock market down for a bit. It doesn't need to be a clear catalyst in a negative direction as well. It can also be the fact that it just drags out for so long and is just filled with uncertainties, you know?
Oops. Yeah, and wow, I can't type today. What is the ticker for S&P on this? Oh, SPX. My God, Jesus. I gotta get it together, guys. I mean, the S&P is holding up a little better, but also too is kind of fluctuating below the 50 there. So I like to check the NASDAQ because I find it's more volatile and it matches more what my momentum style is. So that's more why I use that versus the S&P. But I do always like, obviously the S&P is the benchmark. So this is the one that you want to watch. But you know, when the Iran crisis first started, which is, you know, back here in March, you can see it clearly break below that 100 before, you know, and literally it got to the point that until basically it looked like there was going to be a resolution, did we get any kind of benefit? So I'm if anything, if I had to guess right now, we trickle down, but it just depends on this, like I said, the taco trade, and you know, I mean, oil is back at, it crossed $100. I think crude did. So
yeah,
it
went back down again.
Yeah, I did see it's going back down, but still, my point being is that, you know, it doesn't look, you know, great.
I did notice for a while now, PBF, Dane, do you remember Carlos Slim and how he purchased on the way down in March of 25? I think he bought like all the way down there. He must have made a ton on that now.
March of 2025, is that what you said?
Yeah, he was just buying these gigantic sums.
Well, yeah, that was a great
all the
time
way
to buy.
down here. And then it took a while, but he's well up on, I think, almost all the purchases there now.
If he was buying in March,
huh?
I mean, if we just say an average of somewhere in here,
Yeah.
he's still holding. He's up 200-some%. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but they have earnings soon. Oil. This is an oil-related company, right? Oil. Let's see. Yeah. So, but that's more deep value again, I guess.
At the time, it was.
No, but I think my lists are small now. I think biotech still has a few good-looking charts. I think some related to like the ones that have been dragging the market, so semiconductor, software stocks, you know, communication equipment, those types of charts. Some are looking good. I was stopped out on Dave, by the way, this week. It ended up being my second best trade for the year, so really good. But now I'm out of it, and I think it will build a base. It touched the 21 EMA, and then it pulled back a little bit, but I can see this moving sideways for a bit. Earnings coming up in 10 days.
Yeah, I think it's a healthy move probably for him to move sideways. But I mean,
yeah,
that was a really, that, I mean, this is a perfect swing trade stock, so pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's a strong one. And another one I noticed in my screens now are HPE, which I think looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's holding up well.
Yeah, and DELL looks good, I think, still.
Same, all the big computer companies right now are hanging in there strong.
Maybe AMD.
I can't believe DELL is worth $282 billion. That just sounds wild to me.
Yeah.
AMD is it's in the semi business, so
yeah.
And GPUs.
And then I had some bio ALMS. I think looks decent.
Yeah, there is stuff holding up. I mean, even if
but
you go.
But my point with this is more like I'm not going to buy them this next week. Something incredible has to happen on one of them then, if that catches my interest. But it's more like to track which ones I'm going to buy later when the market turns around a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get you. That's what you should be doing in this market. This is the list that my screener has given me. So if we
Yeah,
look at some charts here,
yeah.
um,
You
a
see,
lot of these ones are probably going to be holding up on something like this. So
yeah, but at the same time, it's this last week that screwed a little bit with a few of these charts, right?
yeah, I mean, even apps was doing really well, and that's just been in a
Yeah,
downcline. All of these are this kind of sideways move right now, where it looks like they're holding, but like just holding.
yeah,
All of them are, banned. This is another one that
yeah.
had a strong run that's
And
now back to the 100.
yeah,
All of these, and like you said too, a lot of them are either computer or some kind of biotech, because that's
yeah,
really what seems to be.
that's the
Some
ones you
telecommunication type
see.
stuff is holding up. I noticed that. We talked about that last time. Fuel
Uh,
cell.
uh, f- Fuel cell, if you cut out the big move up there, it kind of build a pretty good base, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's this, if anything, looks bullish to me, because that means it's trying to break out.
Yeah, it did want to go up, right?
Um, and now we have the stuff condensing here, the moving averages. So it's one to
Yeah, I
watch
know.
for sure. I mean, this has always been on my. This keeps popping on my list. I've traded this a couple times here and there.
Yeah, when fuel cell moves, it moves, you know.
Yeah, it can move. It's a high
Yeah,
ADR stock, so.
yeah,
Um, Groupon's had a pretty strong run here. It's holding up pretty well.
yeah, nice.
Um, Hillian really pulled back.
Yeah, it's
They're
a
one I've
big
been
pull.
watching, because it did have a few days. I actually traded this week. Not for any kind of real gain, but it just held up. So I'm just keeping an eye on it, kind of.
Yeah, and some good volume on those 2 days too.
I thought MEI has a nice looking chart here. It looks like
Yeah,
it's still a little choppy still. I'd like to see a smaller candle. Like on this day, it looked like it was kind of catching, but it looks like it's holding up. Like, this looks like it's forming a pretty strong flag here.
yeah,
NVCT, this is a pharmaceutical, which I haven't been following this one much. It's just on the list, but it's look at how it's riding the 20 and the 10.
yeah.
I mean, that's
And
and look at this run
this
ahead.
the spike in volume there, and it's lasting also a little bit, you know.
Yeah, so
So
there is some stuff holding up. Pang's actually, this is kind of looking more on the ugly side, but it's still held in my screeners.
yeah,
PSNLs is another one I traded this week, which obviously didn't pan out, but I was happy. The one execution mistake I made is I set a stop too tight on the one day that everything was up and moving, so that was just my bad. And at the same time too, I was on vacation, so like I didn't want to do anything like too crazy, or like I'm not able to watch like I do other weeks, so.
yeah,
I just wanted to, probably still the right move to just be cautious, even though it would have worked if I had followed my rules, but whatever. But I mean, it's still in a huge downtrend now. I mean, everything's pulled back to its moving averages. Cure looks like it's consolidating pretty nicely. It's another biotech.
yeah. I saw
They had
that
the
on
same
my
move
list.
here.
Yeah,
Um,
that one too. A lot of the biotechs look similar.
Yeah, the biotechs that are kind of holding up, that you can tell, institutions are buying, they have that same
Yeah,
kind of sign. RXT's holding on the 100 here. I mean, it doesn't look super bullish, but everything's kind of pulled back. So, I mean, it's right in line with everything.
yeah,
Um, and I almost kind of like to see like these big moving stocks, when they pull back and then they really start holding it like the 100. To me, that means someone's buying.
yeah,
This should easily break right through there down to the 200 or lower if everyone's selling out, which you don't see.
no, and the selling volume on that big candle, it wasn't even that big.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
in same, the volume now is like abysmal. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that any of these are going to take off. Let's see how next week looks. But I do like the names that are still coming up. I still think the screener's working well. I think it's just, it's tough. And you'll probably, if things do turn around, you'll probably have 1 or 2 days where everything just takes off. If there's some kind of bullish news, I don't know, you know, somehow Trump and Iran become friends. I don't know what's going to happen.
But I mean, we are going towards 2 months now of a sideways or downwards trend, which is, it's normal, right?
Yeah.
And it can last for longer as well. So I think just, you know, if you remember in April, there was some clear signs that, okay, this is something new. It's potential to really go now.
Right.
So I think you should wait a little bit to see like something concrete, you know, that you can say like, okay, this caught my attention. And now I'm going to try to get into the ones that I have been tracking throughout this base, I think.
Let's pull the summary back up so you guys can see the names. But yep, so that's my list for start of next week. So
yeah,
I mean, obviously you can see stuff's barely holding up. You know, I like on the stock charts they have the SMA 50 and the SMA 200 to see how stuff. So obviously anything that's shown up on the list is probably going to be well over the 200. It's very rare it can even make it onto the list without it. That just for the screener, but. You can see compared to the 50, I mean, it's pretty mixed on what's holding up versus not.
yeah.
So something to watch, but, and ironically, you would think that I would probably be like, oh, you know, like, Groupon and NVCT look great here. Some of the ones I actually like are the ones that are below the 50, because if they do bounce back, they can bounce back a little bit stronger than some of the other names. So I actually sometimes I like to look at RXT. Because it's down 27% from the 50. So if that one's able to bounce.
That's also something to notice, like these subtle signs, I think, if something is gapping above some key moving average, that's also a sign you should notice, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you have to look at the chart too to see, because like, is that 26% is it in a huge downtrend and just still happens to be up?
Yeah.
Or is it been hovering at that point now for a while, and it it can hold up well. So both are things to consider. But yeah, other than that, I ain't got much to say. It was a tough week.
Yeah, I am still in one stock, and I'm not sure how much I like the chart right here, but I have trimmed and raised the stop loss, so I'm fine with it. It's ORKA, ORKA. It's a biotech.
Yeah, no, ORKA. Yeah, I remember you saying you had got it, and yeah, I mean, this is holding up very well.
Yeah, I'm just a bit scared because I got in on that big up day. I got in early.
On this one?
Because on the volume came in
Friday?
really early there. It had a high R volume early in the session. So I was thinking like I'm just gonna try this and see where it goes, and it went up straight away.
Yeah.
But then it has just been at the same mark almost, just moving sideways. So I'm a bit scared that it can fall extreme down again as well, you know, but if that happens, it happens. I have taken off some risk.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
There's nothing in the chart that screams sell to me right now, so.
Right.
But it's has been a bit disappointing after that one day there. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm in, and my plan is to not buy anything this coming week. It's just I'm also doing some research stuff now. I'm going through, I've used my AI to create a big database with a lot of data points that I'm going through, and I have to sort it manually and systemize it. So I'm doing like a little bit of different things as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my big thing is just going through, you know, I have all my trades listed out, and I've tried all these different ways of tracking, but like I said, probably the past week or two. Just in general, the overall averages that you're seeing in terms of return are dropping. This week, like I said, was probably the first week I've seen where it was pretty much straight up negative. And that's since March. So,
Yeah.
just one of those things that like it makes you realize that like this is definitely a tough market right now, especially for momentum swing trading, whatever you want to call it. So, the other option too that I go back and forth on is I had so much success with the scalping side of strategies. Do I switch to that in these environments? Because trying to claim a percent here and there is a lot easier to do than catch some kind of wider move. So I might make a separate one where on certain periods I just try to get 1% and see how that works. Because there's possibilities of doing it. It's just easier said than done.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty, with momentum stocks, like I said, scalping 1% on those is pretty easy. You'd be surprised how easily you can pull that off. But that's the thing too, is like I said, the scalping strategy was working. And I think back to when I was doing it, and it was initially in that down period in March. So if we go back to the NASDAQ here, it was somewhere in here that my data all starts. And during this period, I was doing that scalping strategy and survived fine. I was up. So
you were killing it there.
yeah. So I go back and forth on in these downtrends, maybe I should just be doing that. And then as we hit a section like this is where you switch over to longer trades where you're trying to capture much bigger moves. Obviously swing trading works well in this period. So, and then once you start to see, these kind of declines here, these sideways markets, go right back to doing the scalping strategy. But it's all, this is all the stuff that without going back and really back checking. And then the other thing, like I said, you're trying to execute it. So in these markets, you can talk all you want and say that this is going to work because the math says so, but if you can't execute it, then it's not true. So it's finding that realistic balance of what you can and can't do in the market.
And I saw I went through like the stock investing championship results so far, and of course a lot of people there have fantastic results so far, but also there was a lot of people who were around 20% up and down, who were there, so it has been a bit tricky.
I haven't looked at a minute
for a lot of people, I think.
So we got.
But I think right now is also if you have tracked your data and your performance so far, I think this is a good time period to evaluate in the middle of the year, Because
one thing I wish about this website is that they would show you how they've done over time, as opposed to just what they currently are. I would like to see how many people how quickly did all these guys stop trading. That would be nice to know. Obviously you can do it yourself by keeping track of it, but
yeah, I know that if you go a bit up, it's enough. If you go to the 20,000 plus accounts, number 3, Martin Luck.
Yep.
I know he's a fantastic trader. He I think he got 900% last year.
Wow.
And he trades throughout the year. But you see a lot of them are around 20 and even lower.
Yeah, which I still give credit to anybody who's doing it.
Yeah. Not that this is like a measurement of the markets, but
well, that's why I'm saying I'd like to see when these guys peaked. Have any of these guys been trading, or are they all just sitting? Because I bet a lot of these guys are still at their high and they just know when to stop.
You can just go gamble a bit. They go all in on something that has momentum and then stop. And maybe you can place yourself well there, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, because even like I said, even on some of the indicators I've been measuring, like if I had been trading just during this period, you were up like 600-700% on some of the stuff I've been measuring, but you had to know exactly when to trade and when not to. So
Yeah.
and that's the thing too is maybe the right strategy really is truly like at some point you just stop trading because you're going to get eaten alive on some of these sideways markets, and you're really only looking at these big recovery ones, which
it is a bit frustrating also because there will be for sure some stocks doing really great in that period.
Right.
That you kind of have to you have to, because you're going to notice the setup, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to just be fine with letting that one go.
Right.
And then you are just like, that's the sacrifice I make to protect my capital. And when things turn around, I'm starting at a much better place than if I lost 4 or 5% this week, you know?
Right, and that's the other thing is for some of those that were up 600-700%, they're now down like 50% from that high. So
Yeah.
it's obvious that strategy and the things that I've seen worked really, really well in those periods, and that's probably what when it comes to my execution between me really, really outperforming and not. It's making sure that in those time periods you're really taking advantage of the market, and then when you're outside of those time periods, noticing it and quickly slowing down. So
Yeah.
And I know everyone says that, and that's why I'm saying is, but having it recognized in yourself, like you know when you should and should not be doing those things. And
just if you, I think we have said this before, but in the newest Market Wizard book, in the chapter with Kulamagi, he explains how he messed up his game, and that this was the reason.
yeah,
And even someone like him, who has been hugely successful and an inspiration for almost all traders, who has preached on his streams that you should just step away when things are like this, it was more complicated than what I'm saying now, because he also went on a bigger holiday. He lost his touch a little bit, his feel of the market, because before he said like he never took a day off, you know. So
Right.
he also lost his his feel of how everything moved. So it was a combination of things, but even someone like him can do a simple mistake in hindsight, you know, and experience those emotions and everything that we talk about. So I'm just not, even if it's easy to say, it's not actually easy to perform it.
yeah, and
Even if it should be, you know,
well,
because
that's the thing.
I
All
can
this
guarantee
is
you that
technically
he
easy.
is thinking in his head like, no, I'm just going to do one more trade because I have a multi-bagger in the past in this type of environment, and this looks exactly like it, you know.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's really just all focusing on the odds. You know, where is it gonna, where is your potential lie to actually really outperform? And with that, there's obviously so much noise, and there's so many times that the trades are just not going to work. But the more you do that in the right environment, the more opportunity you have to actually really compound. So
yeah, and the compounding effect is what is the key here, you know, because if you, let's say you stop in the right time, then you can keep tracking stuff every day, but you don't do a lot of trades, so you reserve your capital, and then when you start again, your 20% position sizes are worth more than it was before, you know, and that's the
Right.
that's the key to outperformance in a year. Not to just, and that's one of my mistakes this year so far. When I've finally got some traction, I've given away a too large portion 3 times now, you know. And it's different mistakes every time, but they are kind of in the same ballpark. But that's what I mean with, I'm still consider myself new to this, and I'm hopefully gonna not do those mistakes next year, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think it's good to experience them with your own capital.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my goal is, like I said, I need to do some review and figure out if I can correlate anything towards just a straight up rule of not trading. And then also too, is there any benefit to scalping during this period versus not?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I also think it would be a little bit of a relief to have something that just clearly tells you to, okay, now you trade and now you stop trading, you know?
Yeah, no,
But it
it
needs
takes
to be
a
accurate
lot of the
enough.
frustration out.
Yeah, exactly. And you just can be more robotic in your mindset. And it's like, okay, now I stop because it tells me to stop. But you need to test it thoroughly. It needs to be accurate, you know,
Right.
or else you're going to leave a lot of opportunities on the table.
Yeah, so hopefully I get a chance today to really go through and try and find those correlations I've been talking about. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I should be relatively happy I haven't blown up my account totally doing all this.
Yeah, and I have to say, Dane, that's one thing that I think we have done well. We have still not blown up.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I was up 20%, and now year to date I'm down 0.5%, which I know most people are probably like, "Wow, that's you're an idiot." Which thank you, but I can't explain to you how much I've learned in the last 2 months that.
And you also took the decision. You also took the decision to say, hey, I want to try to do better, and I see this thing as a potential way to do that, and then you're willing to test. And that is, in the long run, the key to succeed here, I think.
Yeah, and like I said, with the scalping strategy till now, I think I'd still be up like, maybe 3x. If I had followed everything perfectly, and this is all rules I learned afterwards. So it's not like I couldn't have done that in the time period. I had to go through this process and be like, okay, if you had done this, this is what would happen. If you'd done this, this is what would happen, blah, blah, blah. And now we're at a period that's really good data for me because, okay, we're finally in a really true kind of pessimistic market where nothing really works. And in these markets, how do you recognize that, and what should you be doing in those markets? Is it worth trying to trade in these? I could see certain things working, but it's obviously going to be choppy. And if it's too choppy to the point where, like, when it comes to the execution, you're up and down all over the place, and like, it's almost lock on how often you're able to pull the scalps off versus not, well then, yeah, it's pretty simple. You just don't do it. And if that's the case, well, the scalping strategy is great, but when it's a good market, you shouldn't be scalping. You should be trying to take the bigger momentum full day trades or the whole upswing of the day. That's the goal of what I've been researching and following. So,
because imagine that in the end, if you manage to figure these things out and have tested them by going through your own results and your performance, how many legs you can stand on throughout a market year, and how much you are able to adapt to each certain situation, and that would be a fantastic end result.
Right, and my big thing too is if I can hit a 4 or 5x in a strong bull market like we had, that cushion that would give me will totally change my mentality of trading. Like, okay, I'm up this much, don't lose that. You know what I mean? Like, well, right now, right when I really started switching the strategy, the market's pulled back, and it has not worked. Which, well, that's painful. It's also really important to take from that, and it just makes you want to perform. But it hasn't made me blind where I'm still trying to trade just to trade to make money. Right now, it's all about execution, because there's a lot of unexpected execution errors I've made. So it's really important I continue to execute just in real time, just to see how it works and what I have to do. This last week, I implemented my stop loss strategy from the week before, and that has saved me heavily. I would have been down a lot if I had made mistakes like I did last week. Yeah. So I think all this stuff is adding up in the right direction. It's just it's hopefully this is my last painful process of getting here. I know I've said that on the stream. I can't even tell you how many times, but I think that's part of it. I think it's you know, most people end up bashing their head against the wall so many times that they're like, I give up. And I think, you know, all the great traders tell you just keep working, keep refining, and eventually it'll start to click. So hopefully I'm working my way there.
Yeah, I agree.
You got anything else that you wanted to cover? I mean, I don't got anything
No,
else.
I think we were kind of agree that this would be a little bit of a shorter stream because one, I didn't take so many trades, and two, it's pretty obvious where we are right now, right? So
Yeah.
there's no need to talk and discuss so much about it. We just have to once again wait and see. That's how we summarize every week, I think, but it's also true. At least we have gone through the watch lists and the things we look for. If someone wants to go through them to try to spot their own relative strength stocks.
Right. Yeah, so once again, we'll see what next week brings. Maybe we can have a bit of a bounce back, because the other thing too is, like, you see in these choppy markets, you get this move where it goes down 7%, up 6%, down 6%, up 5%. So we could easily get like a 5 or 6% week before it pulls back again. If you know, even in downtrends, don't get me wrong, every once in a while you run into this where it just plummets. So
yeah, but that was also the end of it, right?
True. You know, and usually that's kind of almost the sign. You know, usually, like, same thing on the up move. You get this massive up move, and then finally it breaks.
It's a change in character. And if you look at the last base as well, before the tariff stuffs and all that stuff, it's the same pattern. It goes down, up. That is a base, you know, that's what creates a base.
True.
But then, like you said, it changes a little bit at the end there, and you get these gap downs multiple days in a row, and then a big character change again on the way up. And that's what I mean earlier when I said, like, something needs to catch your attention here, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And then, you know, now, and we had broken the low on the 23rd, which is immediately what made me be like, okay, this may truly be bearish. And then, like you said, Friday it broke again, and now it's holding at lows. So,
and if it wants to go down to, what is it there on your chart, 24,500 something, I can totally see that happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could easily. I mean, this time, how much did this go below the? This went 6% below the 200 MA. So 6% from here. Is somewhere around here. So we're talking a 20% drop if it was to perform like that.
Yeah. And also it was a little bit of a unique bull run we had now. It was I know a lot of people were talking about and they called it like a lockout rally, that if you didn't position yourself early, it was hard to get into things.
Yeah.
I felt like I managed to position myself early, so I didn't feel I was being locked out, but I could see the point they were making, you know.
Yeah.
But that's also a thing you should consider here. I think it was a little bit of a unique bull run, very steep upwards, and then maybe you will get the same reaction in the opposite direction now when it gets time to breathe a little.
Yeah, and I also think too, when you have one of these down periods, every hedge fund, every market maker, they're all trying to start to make money. So when they get an opportunity, it just takes off because everyone's trying to pile back in to try and make as much as they can in that short period. Because you got to think, you can look at this. Most of these huge changes in trends, they're 3 months. This is 3 months. This, I mean, you could argue somewhere in here is the actual 3 month period because it's more of the breakdown part. But then once again, from here to somewhere in here is about 3 months. And now we're heading into this next 3 months where, and you have to always think it's always rolling. So, if you go from peak here, we still could have another month and a half that this kind of drops. But no one wants to have bad quarters. You know, they lose their clients, so they're stuck in this cyclical battle that kind of keeps these markets. It's what allows momentum to work.
Yeah.
So.
And if you go a bit further back, when you measured how much below the 200-day, the last peak down was even further, you know. There, this one.
This was a 26% drop.
Yeah.
So
they exist.
I'm not saying we can't, you know, go further down, because this is a pullback. Even now, it's only 8%, which is a super small gap down.
Yeah. And the closer we get down to the territory where it can find support in the last top of the move from October 25, you know, it can also continue sideways for a long period.
And then, I mean, you got 2022. This was 38%.
Yeah.
You know, this is when Hugh said he got murdered.
It was like 2 years in a down period, right?
Yeah.
Or give or take.
And from there, we're up 140%. So,
yeah.
You know, it comes and goes, but
yeah, so we are early in a move. I'm at the point now where I feel a bit bad about my execution for this week. So I just don't want to replicate it again, and I'm just gonna chill a bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Usually these things drop all the way down to the 200 on a real breakdown, or through it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's obviously the next kind of indicator of how this ends up. Is it something, because you can see pretty, even historically, this is a 10-year, and sorry, I know it's really zoomed out, but every time it touches that 200, a lot of times it bounces right off of it. So that's a good thing to watch for. And then on the times it breaks through, it really breaks right through. So
yeah.
those are the big warning ones. You know, when you hit that 200 and you break right through it, that's probably all hands off.
It's not necessarily a bad thing if we go down there, though, but I think what you should look for, the best time to get position in stocks is when it turns around again from a bullish to a bearish trend. I mean, the opposite, a bearish to a bullish trend, right?
Yeah.
So in that time, you have to do your homework with screening and monitoring stocks, and just like not decide on in advance, you know, but let the market show you which groups and which stocks you should probably focus on, and try to get in when things turn around as quickly as you can.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I think that ends it here, guys. Good luck, everybody, on this next week. Hopefully we get good news, and we'll see where we end up from here.
Just end the wars.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're in these wars.
No.
But here we are.
Seriously. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
See you then.
Peace.